So hey everyone, welcome to this webinar. This is the second webinar from our online professional development work group. And we try to have these webinars hopefully with topics that you might enjoy and might benefit from. So today we have Edith Quintero, and she's one of the counselors here at North City campus. And she'll be explaining basically what kind of programs she oversees over there at North City campus. Next week, we're actually going to have Chris Gomez do a webinar about public speaking. So hopefully you're there for that too. And yeah, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat. You can use the reactions for raise your hand. I can get to you. But yeah, I'll read the chat. If you have any questions, please let us know that way. And yeah, Edith, you want to take it away?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Edith. I am, as Jaciel mentioned, one of the counselors for the North City campus. I work mainly with the information technology programs, and then I also work with some of the office skills, and we have another counselor. Her name is Joyce Almario, who also works with the information technology, where we call them the IT programs, and then with office skills as well. So yeah. Should I just keep going?
Yeah, like what kind of programs do you oversee?
Okay. Yeah. So with the IT programs, there is a huge list. If you go to the SDCE under the certificate programs for computer and information technology, you'll see all the certificate programs that we work with. It's a little, I know that sometimes people will get confused into, okay, so if a student wants to go into a program like Cisco, where do they start, or can they just go straight into the programs? So as usually what we do in an orientation is we'll do somewhat of an informal self-assessment that will help students figure out whether or not they're ready for a program like Cisco, or even a certificate program like, for instance, like Security Essentials. Because I think oftentimes students are like, oh, that's what I want to do, and they think that the first course within Security Essentials will provide them with the foundational knowledge that they need. So I know that oftentimes the programs can be a little confusing in terms of helping students figure out their starting point if they don't have the IT knowledge, if they are new to the field, or even for some of those students who maybe 10 years ago, worked on computers but kind of don't know where they're at now. So I wanted to share a slide that I usually share with students in an orientation. And you'll have to forgive me because I don't have Publisher on my computer, so I wasn't able to get the file that actually breaks down the certificate programs. The one I'm going to show you breaks down the classes. So let me share my screen and I'll kind of explain what this I'll explain it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually the way that I help students kind of understand their starting point would be with Comp 612, which is this one right here, which is more of an entry-level course. This would be for a student who's thinking about the IT programs, but not really sure if they want to pursue it. Or for those students who are like, I know I want to go into IT, but have very little computer knowledge. And this is just basic understanding of like hardware. It actually goes into some security, some network, a little bit of everything. And again, it's basic knowledge and understanding, because oftentimes what I tell students is if you don't have foundational knowledge, you're not going to do well in the more advanced courses. So if it were me and I have no computer knowledge, I would start with Comp 612, which is Hardware Service Technician. The topic under the class schedule, you'll see it as A+ or Cisco A+, so that way people don't get confused into what's the difference between hardware and A+. It's pretty much the same thing. And then once I take that course, my next course would be Comp 608, which is basic network configuration. And this one is, I would consider it an intermediate to entry level course. It starts to give you more foundational knowledge into networking. And then usually from here, I would tell students that you can now kind of pick from the more intermediate to high level courses. And we have our system administration, which includes all of these 6 courses. We can go into network administration, which you'll notice CCNA 1 actually means Cisco. And this one is changing a bit in terms of how the curriculum is going to happen. And then the other one, or the third one, is security administration, which is probably where students, a lot of them want to go into. So like security essentials, cyber security, or anything like that. So this is the route that I usually tell students. If you're brand new to IT and you want to pursue a career, you can start again with Comp 612, then go to Comp 608, and then from there you can kind of branch out. I'll caution, because sometimes students are like, wait, why is this one 612 and this is 608? I don't know. These courses were created long before me. So don't necessarily go with the numbers, because oftentimes students will think, oh, let me start with 600 and then eventually work my way up to like the 652s or whatever it is. No. So usually don't go with the comp numbers. Those don't tell you whether or not they're entry level or not. So one of the things that I could always do is share this. If any of you want it, I can send it to Patty or Haciel. And like, again, it could change a bit. So usually the programs, or the one certificate program that would start with these 2 would be desktop technician. So if you have any students who are like, I'm interested in the IT field and I don't know where to start, you can recommend one to do an orientation, because we would go through the assessment questions to help them determine their starting point. Or you can also say, look into the desktop technician certificate, because I think that one overall gives you some very strong foundational pieces that can then help you determine what route you want to go to. If you want to go to the systems, if you want to go into networking, or if you want to go to security. So I think it provides you with some strong foundational courses and knowledge to help you determine what field you actually like, because all 3 fields are very different. I would say system administration, you're looking at operating systems. You might go into a little bit of potential coding here. Network administration, you're looking into networks and how computers connect to one another. And then security is how do you protect your computer. So all 3 of them are very different routes, and some students find that they like system administration a little bit more because they might want to go into potentially software engineering or anything like that. Or if they want to be network administrators, or if they actually want to do the security route. And again, these are going to be entry level certificates. They're not, once you take all the courses from system administration, you're not going to become a database administrator, right? And you're not going to become a software developer. But I think it will provide some foundational knowledge for students to be able to start to get entry level work into a field, for them to, get their foot in the door, and then from there, maybe take some courses in other places, or just work their way up in whatever company they're with. So I think
Edith?
for the most part, that's it. I don't know if anybody has any specific questions.
Eddie has a question. He asks, does desktop tech require an orientation moving forward? In the past, we just directed them to the class here at ECC.
So because all 3 courses are part of a certificate, yes, desktop technician does require an orientation.
And then another question was, can we get this this slide emailed?
Yeah, so what I could do is I'll share it with I'll send it to Patty, and you, Haciel, maybe depending on whoever wants it, and then you guys can forward it to whoever wants it. And please keep in mind that this is my basic one that I created. It's nothing that the institution has put out. It could be that it may change a little bit in the next coming months. But like I said, hopefully it kind of helps students kind of gauge whether or not where they're at, and kind of gives them a pathway. But yes, it's not an official website. It's not an official design by Renesa's office or anything like that.
Okay.
I have another question, Edith. Say
Yeah.
like, you know, technology, it changes very like fast, right? And say like we have someone that attended an orientation or of one of the classes maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and then they want to come back. Should they take another orientation or another like beginners class?
So in terms of whether or not they should take a beginner's class, it really just depends on what they've been doing since their last orientation. If they weren't working in the field, I would say an orientation is definitely important, because you know, you might have learned something but forgotten, or the course itself may have changed. It may have been updated to the most recent, you know, course or whatever it is. The other thing too is, because right now we're all in remote, normally if you did an orientation like a year ago, we would say one orientation is good enough. From now on, you know, either contact the counselor and, you know, she'll let you know how to register for your next course. But right now, because of being remote, we are asking all students to attend another orientation, just so that they can get the most up-to-date information in terms of how to register for the particular course that they want. So it might be, you know, redundant information if we had a student who attended an orientation 2 weeks ago for summer classes and want to continue to fall. They might be like, I've already gone through this. But again, it might be important, because that's how we'll say, you know, this is how you would register for, you know, the next course that you would want to take. So right now we are recommending that all students attend an orientation and or contact the counselor who gave them the orientation at least early July, because then we can also say, you know what, yeah, we'll recommend you another orientation. Yeah.
And Edith, there was another question by Jennifer. So are all these classes available this summer?
No. So this summer, the only classes that were available were Comp 612 and Comp 608, and they're already all full. So because these are certificate program classes, we do recommend that a student start at the beginning when the semester starts, kind of jumping in the middle. One, you'll miss the number of hours required in order for you to earn the certificate. Or two, if you come in week 2 or week 3, you may have missed some important foundational stuff within the first 2 weeks. And by then it's going to be pretty hard to catch up if you're new to the IT field. So yeah, for summer, these were the only 2, and they're already full. We're at capacity.
And there's another question by Gabby. Are all bid classes offered in all locations?
No. So the term BIT classes can be, now I think they've broken it up a little bit. So BIT included business and information technology. So business classes would be either small business or project management. It might also include office skills. These courses right here in terms of IT, these 2 are only offered at ECC, Mid-City, and North City. And then these right here under system administration right now are only offered at North City. And I'm not really sure right now what will be offered in the fall. I'm not too familiar. Usually network administration, which is your Cisco, the last 2 or 3 semesters, I want to say it's only been offered at Chavez and North City. And then security administration this course right here, Comp 609, I believe was offered in the spring at ECC and North City, and then the cybersecurity right now is only being offered at North City. Again, some of this may change. The reason why some of these are not at other campuses is because of the software required. Or there's, they use, oh my God, I can't think of the name, NetAcad, so Network Academy, which is, and so it's only installed at certain campuses. So that's why we can't offer it at every single campus. But yeah, typically it's either the entry level to intermediate is ECC and Mid-City, North City. And then some of the more advanced might either be Chavez and for sure at North City.
And then Jennifer asks, are there usually wait lists for these classes?
Yes, depending on where you're at. And again, with this whole remote classes, it is a little bit difficult now. We're trying to figure out how exactly students will register for these classes. In the past, we did things a little bit different where where Comp 612 and Comp 608, if you did an orientation, it was first come, first serve. So you show up on the first day of class and you wait in line, and the instructor will take the first 40 people or whatever it is. And then when we got into like cybersecurity or Cisco, since they were a little bit more popular, they did tend to have wait lists. But we're trying to kind of redesign how we admit students into these programs, because they are pretty, it is hard to manage sometimes because students want to take it, or they've followed the course and they forget that at some point they need to contact a counselor to put their name on the class roster. So we're trying to figure out how exactly to do it. That's why right now we are recommending that all students go through the orientation so that they get the most up-to-date registration information. So that's a good question.
And then Carmen asks, what is the basic required level for the ESL students who are interested in these classes?
I would say it depends on their English level. If their ESL levels 1 through 4, I'll be honest, it might be very challenging for them to start here, because you are going to be doing a lot of reading. An instructor doesn't have a whole lot of time to kind of explain terms and terminology and all of that. So levels 1 through 4 is going to be fairly challenging. I would say levels 5, hopefully they have a fairly good understanding of the English language. And then 6 and 7, again, hopefully they should be fine here. But again, it all just depends. A lot of the students that come from other countries probably have a really high level understanding of IT, but it's just translating the terms in their language to the terms in English might be a little bit challenging. Some of them might be in these high level courses, but again, that's why I think it's important for them to be at a high level, in the high level ESL class. But the orientation again would kind of help them understand. And we've had some ESL students in our orientations that are like, I want to do cybersecurity, and don't really understand what the assessment really means. And so then they're like, oh, I'm ready for cybersecurity. And then they end up telling me, I don't know how to do that. And it's like, I don't think they understood in the orientation what the self-assessment really was. And I think that that's where their English level plays a big role in terms of them understanding.
And then we have another question. Do you have any office skills slides for today?
Office skills slides? No. Sorry. I mean, I can try and pull one up, but I have it broken down just by like what each business information worker certificate includes. I don't know if we have time. Do you want me to go into business information worker?
Yeah, if we have time. If not, you can always send me the file and we can send it out through email to everybody here.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't prepare for that one only because I wasn't sure. But like I said, if we have a little bit of time, I can show you the slides that we did in the orientation for you to kind of understand the various classes under each certificate. We could do that. So you guys just let me know when we're ready. I pretty much have time, so.
Okay, so I guess, I don't know if there's any other questions for this slide or
I'm gonna stop sharing this.
these IT classes. If there are any, let us know.
Are you still offering the stackable programs of certificates?
Yeah, so the stackable falls under, sorry, I stopped sharing, but the stackable certificates fall under like some of the pretty much systems and security all offer stackable certificates. And that's the one I don't have publisher because
no, don't worry about it. It was just a question.
Yeah, and that one it's where
years ago.
Yeah, that's the one where it kind of shows I highlighted the classes a specific color for students to be able to see, oh, okay, this certificate and this certificate have this same class. But because I don't have publisher, but I mean, worry. I'll try and I thought I had sent it to the other counselor, Joyce, and I'll try and look for it. And if I do, I'll send it to Patty and Hasiel. If not, we'll just, when I have, if I go into the office over the summer, what I could do is I'll do a screenshot of the desktop, of what I have on my desktop.
And just to be clear, can you explain what a stackable certificate is?
So a stackable means that one class is required for multiple certificates. So I don't know, let me go into the website so that I can kind of
I'm sorry, Edith.
No, that's actually a really good question because I'm so used to that. I know the terms and I realize that people don't. So let me, let me share this screen. Sorry, give me a second. That way I can show you based on the website what I mean by stackable. So you can all see this. So this is our desktop technician. So pretty much what I ended up doing, go certificate programs, information technology, it takes you here. And this lists right now all of our information technology courses. So for instance, if I check desktop technician under learn more, these 3 courses right here are required for the student to earn the desktop technician certificate. Right here, it does list them in order of number. I would not recommend a student take 608 before they take 612. Okay, so that's why I think it's a little bit different. But anyway, so this course right here, you see this Windows 640 and this basic network 608. Those are also required for a program like Windows System Administration. Oh, sorry, I went to the next steps. So under Learn More, Comp 640 is also required for Windows. So when one course is required for multiple certificates, we call it a stackable, meaning that a student can earn multiple certificates just with one class. Same thing with, for instance, server essential, no, sorry, let me go with security essentials. Security essentials requires that a student complete Comp 608, which was the same 608 for desktop technician.
So it's like a 2-for-1, like a deal.
Yeah, and some of them it's actually almost like a 3-for-1, which is kind of neat because a student can work towards multiple certificates under one class. And I know sometimes I get the question from students, can I take both 612 and 608 at the same time so that I don't have to, you know, pursue, so it doesn't take me longer to pursue my certificate or to earn it. And I usually tell students, only if you already come with some knowledge on what computers are. But if it's me and I'm brand new to the IT field, I would not recommend 2 courses at the same time, because one class provides you foundation to the next class. So you're going to try and learn about networking when you don't understand what a motherboard is, you know? So I wouldn't recommend it unless a student is familiar with like 75% of the information in one course. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Are the orientations done over Zoom now?
Yes. This spring we tried out something a little bit different, where we recorded a Zoom with no students, saved it, uploaded it to YouTube, so it was a pre-recorded Zoom. It worked, but I think there were a lot of questions. So like everyone else, it was a trial and error. And we kind of figured out what works, what doesn't. So we are trying to figure out what's going to work for summer orientations for fall classes. So we're not too sure, because we do know that we need to be compliant with ADA, and doing a live Zoom without closed captioning could be challenging. But I also do know that the current acting dean, Katie Serbian, did mention that we could possibly send an email ahead of time and ask students that if they'll need any like translators or anything like that, I think they need up to 72-hour notice. So that means that we have to send an email at least, you know, 4 to 5 days before for students to be able to reply. So yeah, we're trying to see the best thing for orientations.
And then there's another question. If a student claimed that he took some kind of A+ class somewhere else, and he wanted to jump straight into the N+ class, is that possible?
Yes, but they won't be able to earn the desktop technician certificate. So if they're like, yeah, I want the desktop technician certificate, I took A+ at, let's say, one of the institutions, I think it's called like New Horizons, they can still pursue N+, they just we won't be able to transfer the course from whatever institution over to us. And same thing with City, if they said, oh, I took like an entry-level IT course at City College, you know, I want to move that over here and earn the certificate, they won't be able to do that. But they might be able, by taking the N+ course, they might be able to earn another certificate. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Basically, the credits don't transfer over. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, they don't transfer. So
all right. Any other questions?
If there's any other questions, let me try and look for my orientation for office skills so that I can show you what the various classes under each certificate. Let me mute myself because there's some noise outside.
We have 2 other questions. Is that okay, Edith? So after completing the program, are students able to receive help looking for a job in the field?
Okay, so for that, the best advice that usually I give students is to go to Juanita or Carl for career counseling in terms of resume writing, interviewing skills. I believe that job developers are helping students with what we call necessity jobs, like I need a job right now. And they're also helping students with connecting them to employers. So I would say it's a 2-step process, connecting with the career counselor and with the job developers.
And then Gabby asks, any chance we can do another bit presentation with the other classes? I think that's what you were pulling up, right? The office skills one?
Yeah, I'll pull them up and it'll be kind of basic information, but yeah, I'll pull it up. All right, let me share my screen. If you can see, can you all see this right here?
Yeah.
So let me put it as a,
Yes.
see if it doesn't take too much. All right, so for the BIW, which is Business Information Worker, there are, I would say, a total of 5 certificates. This summer, we focused just mainly on 2. And then any student who was continuing from spring can continue to pursue all their other ones. But Business Information Worker entry level skills would require these 3 courses right here. So keyboarding, they have to type out at least 25 words per minute. Word processing beginning, which is your Microsoft Word, and electronic information management, which is your Outlook. And then business information worker technical skills, which is your spreadsheet beginning, Microsoft Windows. Sometimes students, I've had a few questions from students asking me that they wanted to take Microsoft Windows, thinking that it was sort of like an entry-level course to the IT classes, and it's not. This is basic, pretty much understanding your Windows computer, like where your files are, how you save. It's not understanding the back end of computers. So just if students ask you, and basic business information system, again, might be just basic information on the system itself. It's not going to be, you're not, after taking both of these, you're not going to be, you know, you can exempt yourself from A+. I would still recommend A+. Okay. The other one, oops, let me go back. Okay, is accounting. Actually, let me go to this one, because this continues on to business information worker. Business information worker soft skills is your business communication 1 and 2, and then workplace professional. Usually these 2 can be done in 1 full semester. It's like a 9-week class each. So the first 9 weeks here, the second 9 weeks. And then workplace professional is usually about the full semester. And these are lecture based. So the soft skills is a course that a student would have to attend certain days and times, versus the other 2 are in the open lab. Online right now with COVID and everything online, I'm not exactly sure how our instructors are doing the self-paced classes. So that might be an instructor, more of an instructor question. And then administrative assistant requires word processing advanced, spreadsheet advanced, database beginning and intermediate, internet basics, and computer presentation. I think because administrative assistant, most students think of like, I might want to be an executive assistant, or you know, get some office job. They automatically gravitate towards the administrative assistant, when business information worker entry level skills provides you with some foundational classes to become an administrative assistant. So usually I tell students, if you want to do administrative assistant, I do recommend business information worker entry level skills. 1, because as an administrative assistant, you want to make sure that you have good typing skills. So I'll go back to that one. You want to have good typing skills, and it's going to give you beginning Word. And you're also going to want to learn how to work Outlook, because more than likely your office is working with Outlook. So I usually tell students, at least pursue entry level and then go into the administrative assistant. But again, technical skills works just as good. So, you know, and with these, they can pursue multiple certificates at once, right? So yes, that's both of them. And then let me go back. Sorry that I keep going back and forth. And then the account clerk requires accounting beginning, accounting advanced, computerized accounting, which is your QuickBooks, spreadsheet, and then business math 1 and 2. And I know usually students will tell me, well, I already took like algebra at City College. Do I really need to take this? Or, you know, I don't want to take math. Sure, they don't have to take this, but they won't be able to earn the certificate. So you have to take all classes in order for you to get the certificate. Yeah, I think for the most part, that's it. That's all 5 certificate programs. Any questions?
So Danielle asks, how are students obtaining course materials such as computer programs and reading materials? Is everything available online or in Canvas, or do students need to purchase textbooks, QuickBooks, etc.?
I believe everything's provided for them electronically, especially right now. And for the IT programs as well. The IT programs, sometimes the instructors will recommend certain books, especially if a student is interested in certification. So the instructor might say, hey, I recommend that you purchase the CompTIA A+ study guide, because it'll give you, you know, if you're pursuing that certification, it's going to be a good study guide. But again, they're recommended books. It's not a requirement that a student has to have the books.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So I think we got around 2 minutes left. So any other last questions for Edith? Yeah, let us know.
I'll stop sharing that way. If anything pops up, there we go.
Yeah, basically the main rule from everything we've said is basically people sometimes want to transfer their courses, their units, but we can't do that, right? To get a certificate. Basically.
Correct. Yeah, you can't transfer them in. I didn't want to get into articulation because that's a whole nother beast in and of itself, but maybe for the summer we might, once I get more clarity from Michelle Gray, who's the dean of BIT, in terms of which classes articulate and which ones don't. And pretty much what articulation means is that they take the class with us, and if they earn an A or a B, and the instructor fills out certain paperwork within 2 weeks of them finishing the class, they can use that class and move it over to City, Mesa, or Miramar for units. And it's free units. So some of them, with certain programs, you can earn, I think, up to like 10 units. I know like the auto program also has some. The web development, which is like our digital media, our front-end web development also has them. But like I didn't go into that because that's probably like an hour conversation in terms of what exactly articulation is, and, you know, all the paperwork and all that goes into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Lily's question actually. Can students transfer certificates into college credits?
Some of them,
yeah.
you don't transfer a certificate, you transfer the class to certain units. So there are some, but I didn't want to go into too much because I don't know them all. For all the computer courses, I don't know them all. I just know a few of the office skills courses, and I think that list is always changing, you know, depending on where it is. But maybe I could do something over the summer. Once I get, like I said, I don't want to give the wrong information and then it's like it's outdated. So.
And then she also asked, is there a time limit? By time limit, Lily, do you mean like from when you finish the class to when you can transfer the credit? And Jennifer asks, so do we refer students to you and or Joyce if they are interested in the program?
So there are, for the BIW program, Business Information Worker, there are counselors at every single campus. For some of the IT programs, I think it just depends on what campus you're in. But if a lot of them are interested in the North City campus, it's either myself or Joyce. Either one of us is fine. in terms of articulation, for Lily's question, there is a certain time limit. So when you finish a class, you have about 2 weeks. So usually what we tell students is you want to let your instructor know that you are interested in articulation, because they need to fill out paperwork 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of you completing the class. And there's also a lot of stuff on their end as a student that you need to do, which we can help with. For instance, like if Patty wanted to do it and she's going to finish her class in a week, I would start telling, or I would have her come to me and say, okay, we need to do, your application to the college, we need to do, whatever it is. So you just want to move the units over. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start the next semester at the credit side. So that's what I'm saying. It's a whole nother beast to explain, and it can get very complicated to try and understand all of it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I think we have a minute left. Any last minute questions? If not, we can end it right there. But yeah, on behalf of the Online Professional Development Work Group, I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you, Edith, so much for the information. If you have any questions, you can email me or Patty or Edith. We can be the bridge between you and Edith if need be. And yeah, everybody's saying thank you. So thank you, Edith. I don't know if you can see the chat.
I can. Yeah, and one last thing, if you are, like Hasiel mentioned, next week they'll be doing public speaking, and Christopher Gomez is part of, oh my goodness, I just blanked out.
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, there you go. I was going to call it speaking something. So Toastmasters. So if any of you have heard of Toastmasters, and I know Patty will send something out. So I know usually people are like, oh, public speaking, but it's actually really good. I usually have him go into, when I teach a personal growth class, I have him go into my personal growth classes and help students kind of get comfortable with public speaking, because it is kind of a nervous to do. Yeah.
And it's going to be interactive.
Yes.
So it's next week, which is on Thursday, the 25th of June at 11 a.m. So same time as this meeting. And that'll be an email going out, hopefully by Neil or Patty, I'm not sure. So watch out for that.
Neil.
Okay, Neil.
And I'll send out, I'll send Patty and Hasiel the screenshot that I have, and I'll try and look for the other one where you can actually see the certificate programs. If I don't find it, like I said, hopefully in the next coming months, I'll try to go into my desktop computer at North City and try to get a screenshot of it. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Edith. Thank you, everybody. And have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.